Stay. You stay. Hi.
Hello. What's going on today?
Well, I've had multiple problems with the people next door. They call on me for literally walking down the street. They have cameras pointing at my house. They called on me for taking pictures of the camera. I mean, this is ridiculous. And so just earlier, I guess I should start with last week. I was walking along the side road over there, and I was picking wildflowers on the pavement. I mean, if you're a homeowner, you know that the town always owns like a certain amount of footage anyways. I already talked to the code enforcement officer also. But just a little while ago, when I was getting home, I was writing to someone, so I pulled over on the side of the road. And all of a sudden they're like looking at me, and then all of a sudden they're in the driveway over here, and she's like talking about like, oh, I should plant purple flowers because I picked the purple flowers on the side of the road, stupid. And then she starts calling me a whore and a bitch and all these disgusting names. And like, they're the ones that are constantly calling on me. So you know what, I was like, you know what, now I'm calling on you. You can't harass me and you know what I mean? Like, and then say that I'm doing things that are wrong. I haven't been arrested for any of these things, you know what I mean? And so I don't know why the Camillus police just allow them to keep making these petty, stupid calls that end up in nothing. Like, I stole their cat. Well, I know, but you know, they don't say anything to them. Like, you know, she brought a garbage can in, or she walked to the end of the street. She's lived here 26 years. You know who she is. And she's not a suspicious person. I mean, I've had the calls for all kinds of things, and it's just ridiculous that they just get away with harassing me all the time. And most police keep abiding to them. They say, well, aren't you sick of seeing us? Well, it would be in your best interest. Even though you weren't doing anything wrong, you should just not do that. You know, and that's like, that's ridiculous.
Well,
I mean, you know,
no. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, if you're doing something, you know, to provoke them. You know,
well, yeah, and I'm not.
I would suggest not picking wildflowers in front of the house.
Well, I mean, they're purple flowers right there on the side of the road, but the town, I talked to the code enforcement officer, he said that there's more than 20, about 20
you know what I'm
feet
saying, right?
on that side.
You know.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I'm not doing anything wrong. There's a bunch of purple flowers right there.
You know, if you know they're going to call on you, because
I wouldn't think that they would. But I wouldn't think that they would. And
I mean, this is my first time dealing with you guys.
Yeah,
but if they're calling you for everything and anything, I would suggest, you know, discretion's a better part of valor. You know, do your best to avoid them, just to not have the harassment.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying.
They own like 3 inches on the side of the creek over there. You see where that wooden thing is right there? And they'll come over here just to mow that little thing. But there's a creek in the middle, and the homeowner who passed away recently, the daughter just got, you know, possession of the house, and I was friends with him. I took care of this side, he took care of that side. Even the side of the creek, I took care of that side of the creek, he took care of that side of the creek. I mean, you know, I've lived here for 26 years. And so it's just ridiculous. And then, you know, I'm having problems with the Camillus police because they really are, like, treating me like shit. I've actually been beat up by a man who stole my weed whacker and then beat me with my weed whacker, and he didn't even get an assault charge. You know, so this is ridiculous. And I just got a phone call from the Camillus Police Department that said that they're not going to respond to this call because of COVID. But they came last week when they called on me because I picked flowers.
They were coming here until the dispatcher said you requested
I did, yeah, but at 10:20 I got a voicemail from the Camillus Police saying that they would not be responding to the home due to COVID. But they've called every time that they call.
I don't know. Last I knew, they were actually en route here until the dispatcher canceled them.
I mean, I've already talked to the district attorney's office.
What's your name?
This. Jennifer Delaney, D-E-L.
One second. Sorry, was it?
D-E-L-A-N-Y.
D-E-L-A-N-Y?
Yep.
Delaney, middle initial, please?
A.
And just my record to date of birth.
A 9/28/75.
And a good phone number I could reach you at?
315-863-6945.
863?
6945.
6945. Okay. So today, you're calling because you were picking flowers and you were yelling unpleasant things?
No, today I didn't do anything. I was pulled over on the side of the road finishing my text so I could...
Okay, so you just stopped to make a text?
I just stopped on the side of the road before I turned onto the street.
And they were yelling things at you?
Yeah, and as soon as I pull in, they start calling me all kinds of names, and I'm like, oh my God. And then she's like, you were on the property, and I'm like, Melissa, okay, you're a new homeowner, so 8 to 15 feet is the town property, and I wasn't even... There's a huge ditch on the side of the road over there between everything.
So you weren't even on the grass.
And I wasn't even on the grass.
Okay.
Yeah, so like,
Okay.
it's ridiculous. I mean, maybe one other time since then I've picked the purple flowers, but
Okay.
you know, I don't want to cause
so
problems. But on the same hand,
Yeah.
you know,
This
who's
is-
gonna tell them
I mean,
that
I
they
can
gotta
talk-
stop doing stuff
I
like
can talk to
that?
them. Well, this is one of the things of they're not breaking the law.
They
can see that. So, like I was saying, and this is one of the things of we pretty much ask people to be adults, do the best they can to leave each other. If you don't like each other, great. I mean, it's unfortunate, but do the best not to do anything that gets them riled up. I'm gonna ask them to do the
I
same
mean,
thing.
it would be one thing if I was like doing some crazy, you know, ridiculous things to get them riled up, but
if I
I make vases of wildflower bouquets. Every 2 days I pick wildflowers.
you know,
So-
I get that. But if something as simple as pulling over in front of their house is going to get them calling or get them shouting at you,
Oh yeah.
I would suggest you go the extra, you know,
Okay.
around, you know what I'm saying, just to.
But
for peace
I mean,
of
that's
mind.
just like I didn't even think about it. I'm turning the street and I stop so I'm not driving and texting,
Which I
which
appreciate.
is
I appreciate
you know.
that.
And also, they called on me saying that I stole their cat last year. Now, mind you, that Jason, her boyfriend, who she lives with down the road, no one lives in the house right here. This man died. My neighbor died.
Empty?
It's empty. That's
So
abandoned.
it's them?
Nope. They're like 2 houses diagonal that way is where they
Okay.
live. So you know, and mind you, they got 5 cameras pointing at my property, like right here, right at my
This all?
Yeah, you see that camera there, and then there's one on the fence out front, and then one on the fence on the side, and then 2 next to the
So
front
they're
door.
complaining about this property, but they don't live here.
Yeah,
Oh.
and also, like, they don't even have any cameras on the side where the front door is. They're all just pointing at my house, so that tells you the mentality here, that they're really,
Well,
they're going out of their way to,
absolutely.
fuck with me,
I've been
okay?
doing this. I've been doing this job
You know.
over 16 years.
Yeah,
You're not the
I mean-
first person that I've had in this situation.
yeah.
Unfortunately, there's some people out there that are, if you're pardon the language, are just plain assholes.
Yeah, and
And
they
you know
are,
what?
and
It's-
I'm not the only neighbor that they've messed with.
And it's,
They call-
unfortunately, it's illegal.
Yeah, and
If
oh,
I
I
could
know.
arrest someone for
I
being
know.
a jerk,
Yeah.
I'd be busy.
Another neighbor, they call Child Protective Services on it.
Okay.
So I'm
Well-
not the only neighbor that they do this to. And
understand
just to
that.
add to the cat, when they said that I stole their cat, he was the top suspect in the case where my cat and my dog was shot and killed
I'm sorry to hear
in
that.
'99, and my 6-year-old son found him in the floor
Well-
digging. So, you know what?
Well,
Shouldn't this
so-
be a civil matter by now anyways?
I mean,
Especially when it becomes a property line issue, that becomes
well,
one,
it's
right?
not plain civil. What I would suggest to people in situations, get it surveyed.
That's what they, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Build a big fence.
And by law,
how high
actually,
can the fence go? 10?
that's their responsibility. When they want to dispute it, and they're the ones disputing it, they actually have to pay for the surveyor if they want to really put
But
up
the
a
problem
fuss.
is, if you build the fence to have it surveyed and it's on your line, then you get to pay. Yeah, it's cheap. Better for you.
I've been there, done that.
Better for you to get surveyed
Yes,
first. Put
yeah.
the fence up and a pro.
Yeah, I'm not a first timer on this
Okay,
kind of
so-
thing. There was an
But
old
that
lady
way
that
the
lived next
cameras
to
are
me.
blocked, you don't.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
they
mean,
don't even live.
no one lives there. And look at this house. You know, I've had to look at it for 26 years, and code enforcement for some reason has let him get away with that. But when my grass gets too high because my lawnmower keeps breaking down, he threatens to fine me $250 if I don't have it done in 2.5 days.
Huh.
So there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a huge problem going on here.
Well, and unfortunately, I mean, all I can do is this: is I'll talk to them and say the same thing I've told you. Is just please do your part to be the adult and not do anything that's going to intentionally provoke them, or just ignore them. Do your
Yeah.
best to ignore them.
I know.
And I'm going to ask them the same thing.
Yeah, I wish someone had told them that when they started plastering 5 cameras pointing at my house too. And that one doesn't even show even 2 feet of their property. I mean, it just shines on my
Yeah.
front door. So, you know,
I would definitely suggest get a fence.
that's what I was thinking. Actually, I read online someone did a tarp fence.
Whatever the town codes.
That's what I was
approve,
saying. If whatever the time,
Yeah, get it surveyed so you know you're within your rights.
yeah.
And I don't know what the town code is for how far back from the property line, yada yada, but
Yeah.
do it right, because it
Yep.
sounds like if you're 1 inch off, the
Yeah,
people that
it's
call,
12
right?
feet because the water pipe, that's where it starts. Because also if you pay a water bill, you also know they'll pay for that much, but
Yeah.
anything from that pipe in is your responsibility. Yeah,
So
so,
get a fence up, and then you
Yep.
worry about the cameras. And what's their house number? You know?
okay, so that's 104,
Yeah,
that's
106.
5, 106, 107, 108. empty lot 109. I think it's is it 113?
I'll look it
I
up.
think so, something like that.
Fine, I'll talk to them.
But, yeah.
I'll ask them not to, you know, to ignore you. They see you out, you know, just again, just do us a favor, you a favor. You know, don't pick wildflowers, flowers in front of your yard. Just do your best to just, you know, don't give them that reason. That way you're not being bothered by them, and I'm going to ask them the same thing, just to, and if they refuse, do your part not to, you
And
know.
her derogatory names that she screams at me, even from down the street on their front porch, she screams whore. And my son actually
They
said
have mental
something to
problems,
them.
or?
They must, because this is ridiculous. I mean, this has been
I don't know.
ongoing forever.
Yeah, just one of those things of it's.
I mean, like,
It's
anyone that
frustrating
wants to
'cause
put cameras on that house anyways has got a problem,
What,
right?
so they own that house?
The guy, Ralph, her father passed away
Okay,
last year,
Her
so.
father lived there. So
Yes,
they
yes.
inherited it, whatever.
Yeah,
estate.
yeah. And he was a
Okay.
friend of mine, so,
Okay.
you know.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, you know, the old adage, good fences make good neighbors.
It does, yeah, I agree
So
completely.
build that fence. That way the cameras, they can
Yeah.
look at the fence all day.
Yeah,
And, you know, just do your best not to, you know, just go right by the house. Don't stop. Don't do anything to give them that reason to call you names, get you aggravated.
yeah, I mean,
steal
I
peace
do
of mind.
my fair share of trying to stay away from. I never in a million
that's-
years would have thought that me walking on the pavement
I,
and picking a flower on the side of the road, because I do it up and down all the roads around
Yeah.
here, you know what I mean? That would ever trigger something like that.
There's
But
some
now
people-
it's become a major issue.
Yeah, there's some people like that. It's just for your peace of mind, just
Yeah.
not in front of their house, just because you know it's gonna get miled up, and you don't need the aggravation.
Yeah.
You know, just it's one of those things of, unfortunately, we get this a lot sometimes. I've had several people in this situation where you have a neighbor and they're not doing anything against the law, but yeah, it's harassing, it's
Yeah.
aggravating, it's
Yeah.
you don't, it's interrupting your peace of mind.
But at least you also realize and can actually admit that you realize that it's harassing, because
Oh, absolutely.
most
It's
of the cops
harassing,
have now
but it doesn't
most of the
meet
cops
the-
have now got an opinion of me because of their bullshit, and they're treating me like that, where they're letting people get away with whatever they want, and then
It's
come at-
harassing, but it doesn't meet the law for harassment.
Right.
If that makes
But I've also had cops over the years, when I had problems with the lady next door, be like, you know what, that's not what we're here for. Let's talk about what we're here for. And if
Well-
there's no crime that was, you know, but we'll talk to them. But, you know, can you, what you're telling me,
it's-
can you not?
help yourself and me out. Yeah, just do your
You know what
best.
I mean? Like, so they so needs to say that to them
Oh,
too.
I'm going to.
You know,
what
and
I just
appreciate
told you
that.
is
Yes.
the same thing we'll tell them. Is,
I
hey, look,
appreciate that.
you know, everyone's above the age of 18.
Yes.
All I can do is ask you, everyone act like
Yes.
adults.
Yes.
Do your part to, you don't, it's a free country. You don't have to like someone.
Yeah.
Just do your part to ignore them.
Exactly.
You know, if they want to yell and scream themselves, don't reply back. Just don't feed into it. And hopefully, you know what, it's like, you know, I tell my kids with the bullies at school, you know what, if you ignore them, eventually they'll leave you alone.
Yeah. I don't know
Hopefully.
about that.
So
But I listened for
you've
a
been here
certain
26 years, right?
Yeah, I
So I'm
listened for
moving.
I listened for quite a while before I finally said something like, "What is
Yeah.
your problem?" You
Just,
know.
just don't
Ugh.
feed into it. Just ignore them.
Yeah.
Just do your part not to do anything, even if it's legal, like picking a wildflower on the side or stopping.
I call it petty wars.
So, by not feeding into it, not giving that
Yeah.
excuse, hopefully they'll just, you know, we can hope. And I'm going to talk to them, and I'm sure they're going to tell me what a horrible person you are.
Oh
yada,
yeah.
yada, and
Oh yeah.
so same thing, just do your part not to aggravate them. I'm going to tell them the same thing. Just whatever you're doing, do your best to ignore her. You know, just for everyone's peace of mind, and keep the neighborhood peaceful here.
Hey,
Okay.
can you pass along one law that, yeah, it's true that the town does own a certain amount of land from the road, because that is the truth, which
Yes
at
and no.
least makes me look like I'm not some bad person, because I already talked to the town code enforcement officer about it, and he said because they're on a corner lot and they have the ditch there, he said, as far as what the town mows on the side with the big thing, he's like, yeah, that is probably 15 feet, if not
But
more.
yes and no. I mean, the town has what's called a right-of-way from the roadway. They still own it. You pay taxes on it. That's the kicker. You pay taxes up to the roadway. They just have the right-of-way.
But see, the thing is our property lines are marked with property markers,
That rock there?
and his yard is only 60 feet.
Yeah.
So my yard is only 60 feet. So my yard from that, to the fence over here,
Yeah.
60 feet. So
Yeah.
from there to the telephone pole is where their property is. So we got thin but long. We have an
Long.
acre. They
Yeah.
have an acre back there. So
Nice.
you know, I mean,
Yeah, I would definitely have a
You know.
survey, get that fence put up, and then we don't worry about the cameras.
Yeah, yeah, I
You
do.
know,
I
just-
would love to get a fence as high as
Yeah.
it can go,
Yeah, I don't know, looking,
with
go-
lattice on top.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go to town court, find out what's the maximum you can get without getting in
Yeah.
trouble,
Yeah.
and make sure it's, whatever they say, a foot from the property line, or whatever the town code is. Get it surveyed, make sure it's exactly, because if it's 11 inches,
Yeah.
they'll complain probably,
Fireboy on top with some security lights, cameras to look at their cameras.
That's what happens. I get it.
You gotta joke about it, or else
Absolutely.
you know what I mean. You'll get
Laugh or cry,
yeah,
laugh or cry, right?
exactly right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just get that fence, and
Gotta
that way
poke
it's,
fun.
make sure it's legal, and they can't complain about it, and then it gives you a little more peace of mind.
All
I
right.
wouldn't want someone's cameras pointed right at my house. Again,
You know.
this day and age, I encourage people to have cameras, but it's to watch, your property, not your neighbor's.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy, but they could literally put it on the property line, on the edge, and have none of their and it's perfectly legal as long as it doesn't have audio. I know, I've researched
Yeah.
laws because I've had to deal with neighbors like this over the years. So I look
and I get it.
and I
When
read,
I've
and I
had
go to the
neighbors,
law library and stuff.
I've had people complain because their neighbor mowed a foot over the property
Oh
line.
yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I would buy him a case of beer and encourage him to finish it for me.
Right.
I mean,
Oh yeah, I
this is
know.
me, but
Yeah, I had
some
a neighbor
people,
over there.
well,
She came into my yard and did like a circle, and I'm like, "Can you come back and do the rest at least?" Like,
Exactly. Buy you a
or like
piece
when
of
they
beer,
come over
finish
here
it.
for that one strip on the other side of the creek. It's like, well,
some people
I
just-
got more yard over here.
Yeah, some people will just get
Yeah.
ornery. That's why I tell people, look, hey, get it surveyed, get it measured, build the fence, and ignore each other.
That'd be
You don't have to like
wonderful.
each other, just leave each other
I'm
alone.
gonna have to put it up there too, because I don't even live in that house. They live down there. I'm gonna have to barricade my whole. Look, it's gonna be like a prison yard.
Let me go talk to them, and I'll tell them the same thing. I'm just gonna ask them,
Okay.
hey, ignore you, leave you alone. Whatever horrible things you're doing, just just ignore her. She's
Yeah.
probably crazy. Just leave
Yep.
her alone. And
And I am.
oh, we all
And there too, we all should be. We all have to be like
So you don't have to be crazy
like
about
what was that
sometimes.
Seal song about? You have to be crazy to
It
to
helps
get
a
it.
ways,
You know what I
right?
mean? You gotta
Well,
be to just to
I'm
deal with
gonna
people
ask
because
him
people are
just
crazy, but
please-
the really crazy ones will always out crazy. That's the
Absolutely.
scary part.
So I'm gonna ask you, just please be adult. Please ignore you. If she picks a wildflower, I mean, it's a wildflower. If I get it, she's in your flower garden picking flowers.
Yeah.
Problem.
Yeah.
The wildflower.
Yeah. On the side
Let
of
her
a
go.
road.
I've been telling them actually not to, you do your part. I'm gonna ask them to do their part, and hopefully this will be the end of it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold my breath,
Yeah.
but we can hope.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, at least he's nice and reasonable. That went well. I hope he says all the same things to them, but I could not pick those purple flowers, but I like those purple flowers and they're beautiful right there. I mean, I'm not even walking on the grass. I'm on the road. So I'll be right back.